From pickdogs.com and sportschatplace.com. I'm here with the Puck Dogs. We've got not a lot going on in the world of sports, but really a lot going on in the world of sports. You know, we got tons happening in NFL free agency, but of course, we'd rather see sports on the field and on the court. It's just hard to navigate this. I'm not gonna lie. You know, it's like I can sit here and smile and we can joke around and talk about hot chocolate all day, but it's like it's difficult for us too. And I just want to keep everything going, let everyone know that we're there for you, and when things get going again, of course, we're going to be in the forefront of things as they get going. So behind the scenes, a lot going on. I mentioned about the handicapper site and people contacting me, of course, and it's like there's nothing I can do to add you or not add you at this point because we don't even have the site up. And it's like it's kind of like with the T-shirts, So I guess I kind of jumped the gun on things. I get a little excited, but we'll deal with those things as they happen. But anyways. A lot of NFL free agency news, and this, of course, is going to affect the NFL draft. And of course, front and center right now is the Tom Brady to the Bucs. Is what it It's I don't see anything where it's a done deal, but from all accounts, that's what it's looking like. But we've seen this in Major League Baseball free agency where it's like a guy is set to go to one team, like Alex Rodriguez to the Red Sox, right? And it never happens. So, I mean, we could pretty much at this point say, though, that Tom Brady's going to the Bucs. And, number one, I always have felt in free agency, I've always thought that in free agency that the team that loses the player gets hurt a lot more than the team that gets the player is helped. And I think in New England with Stidham pretty much as the only option at quarterback, it makes the Patriots in the market for a quarterback. And a lot of the quarterbacks are gone, in this market too. It leaves it open to trade. And then, also now the Patriots are probably in the market in the draft for a quarterback too. So, Chris is our resident Patriot fan. Chris, let's talk about the subtraction of Tom Brady from the Patriots first. Obviously, he was in the first ballot Hall of Famer, 9 Super Bowl appearances, 3 NFL MVPs, how many division titles, how many wins, how many whatever, the leadership quality. Is this a time where the Patriots take a step back and, we hear the first rebuild in 20 years under Belichick? Or is this just a blip on the radar and the new Tom Brady, kind of like the Aaron Rodgers taking over for Brett Favre, happened?
Well, I mean, there's always a possibility that they're going to be like, oh, let's rebuild. We don't have our franchise quarterback anymore. But I think that's a contingency plan. That's worst case scenario. There's guys out there you could still trade. Like Cam Newton's wanting a trade out of Carolina now. You could go the way of the draft. I mean, I know we're talking about guys like Burrow, Tua, and Justin Herbert going early, but then you got guys like Jordan Love out of Utah State that could still go in that range if New England decides to trade up to get him. Or maybe even they can get him. I think they're around 19 or 20 right now in the draft. I have not checked their draft position, but they're definitely in the market to pick him up, or they can definitely find someone to be a free agency. Maybe even they could have a reunion with Jacoby Brissett. If I know we haven't touched on it, but if Philip Rivers is going to the Colts, Jacoby Brissett's not off the table either. So I mean, there's plenty of viable options out there as far as I'm concerned.
Rod, what are you thinking here on the Patriots?
I think they're in trouble. They have a good defense, solid defense, but their offense is in trouble. Even we've seen it this past year. Even with Brady at the quarterback, he still couldn't do it all by himself. He was still missing pieces. So they're going to need a quarterback bad. I think Cam Newton would fit good in there, but they're still going to need some pieces. And what are they going to do? I don't know. Is Belichick going to stick around for another 3 to 5 year rebuild? Or is he just going to see what he can put together for this year and go for it. Uh, I would say that the Patriots are in trouble. I think this is a year they're not going to win the division.
I personally think the Patriots are going to be super competitive. I think that it's all been Belichick in my book and not Brady, and that you could have basically inserted, one of 50 quarterbacks in there, and it probably would have worked pretty well, or have multiple quarterbacks in there. It's kind of like the way Joe Gibbs did it in Washington. He had his system, the prior, probably, if you look back, 25 years or so, he had his system of the Hogs, right, and the Smurfs, and it really didn't matter, Doug Williams, Joe Theismann, Mark Rippon, it didn't matter, and we've seen Bill Belichick do it with Jacoby Brissett. We've seen Bill Belichick do it with Matt Castle, we've seen Bill Belichick do it with the Giants, with his defense, with Jeff Hostetler, So I think that this might be a little overblown. And we've seen Bill Belichick do it last year with no wide receivers on the team whatsoever. I mean, you got a former college quarterback as your number one wide receiver. He's a nice slot guy, and I'm not going to discount, Julian Edelman's value to the Patriots over the years or anything like that. I'm certainly not, saying, he hasn't been a great player for them. He hasn't been a motor guy. He hasn't been an overachiever. He hasn't been, he's been all of those things and then some. Super Bowl MVP, right? Super Bowl MVP. It's like in the big game, he made the catch, right, against the Falcons. Crazy, right? Crazy. But I have to say that I think Bill Belichick, always finds a way. And, I think when we saw it with Jacoby Brissett a few years ago, it pretty much showed you that. When we saw it with Matt Castle and Doug Flutie, we've seen Bill Belichick do this before. And so I think it might be a little bit overblown. If Belichick decides to leave, well, then the Pats are probably in some deep doo-doo. And, it's what a lot of people forget. And I did an article on Sports Chat Place of, the top losing streaks in NFL history. And I cut off, at 15. But if you go down to 14, the Patriots are in there. It's like before the Tom Brady, Bill Belichick era, the Patriots were hideous. They drafted first overall, I think, probably up there with the Bengals, like for the most ever. They were number one overall pick. Irving Fryer was the number one overall pick. Kenneth Sims was the number one overall pick. They've had a lot of number one overall picks. And it's like they've been up there in, if you look at like the Patriots record against, the divisional opponents, they don't have like this massive all-time winning percentage against the Jets and the Dolphins and the Bills. As a matter of fact, with the Dolphins, it's even. Right? It's like I think the Dolphins actually have a winning record over the Patriots' lifetime. And it's like, look at what the last 20 years have been. The Dolphins have been in the playoffs once or twice. The Patriots have been there every single year. So it just goes to show you how bad they were. But I think the Patriots, as long as Belichick is there, they're going to find a way. It's going to be a different way, and it's not going to be a fantasy coach's dream. Let's just say that. But, what do the Patriots do now? I think we'll have to watch. Like I said yesterday, this is a team that seems to slide these guys in when you least expect it and you least realize it. When everybody else is doing nothing is when they generally do something. And we've seen
Belichick had a plan. He's got a plan already. He goes in his head. He had a plan going. If Brady leaves, we will focus to do this. If he stays, we'll focus to do this.
But the mobile QB, like a Cam Newton or a Jacoby Brissett, not so sold on those guys, or Love, for that matter. It's like I don't know who else.
He's got somebody. I bet you he's got somebody in mind.
I'm sure he does. I don't.
And
it could just be a temporary guy.
I think he'll draft somebody. If the Patriots draft somebody, then I think then Belichick's going to stay. Like if they draft a quarterback, he won't take off. But if they don't get a quarterback in the draft, then I don't think he's going to stick around too much longer.
Yeah, I mean, someone here saying the late '90s for the Patriots. Solid. Yeah, since Bill Belichick came there, and before that, Bill Parcells, they've been solid. Before that, they were the dregs. They were the worst of the worst. They were terrible. I mean, they had one good year in '86, and they got blitzed in the Super Bowl, and they never recovered from that. Tony Eason got just absolutely crushed in that game, and they never recovered.
In their weird white uniforms in that time with the little Patriot guy.
I like that better than the new look.
I do, yeah. I like that the old school one with the little Patriot guy and the helmet, and they were all white.
I mean, the Patriot fans they can talk about the Parcells and the Belichick era, but we all remember the Raymond Berry era and the Chuck Fairbanks era. There's Rod Rust. I mean, believe me, there's been some other eras there for the Patriots. Okay.
I will just say, though, as a Patriots fan, if you can win 11 games with Matt Castle as a head coach, I'll at least give you the benefit of the doubt for at least 1 year without Tom Brady. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I'm there too, and I think what we're seeing from the Patriots is that they're doing all the same things that they've been doing. So it's been a consistent company line, where it's like they're shedding some big price guys, they're moving in some other guys who could do the same thing for less money. It's like
that's money.
It's like you need to balance it out because eventually you're going to have to take some shots here, and it's like they do. They have the guys that they want to keep, the younger players, and it's like for Belichick, it's always his safeties and corners because he understands the game, and it's something that I know I haven't talked a lot about it on this show, and I've talked about it with Steve Monahan a little bit, but it's the Mitch philosophy of defense, and it's the same one that Bill Belichick plays, and it's this, is that you get a massive nose tackle who takes at least 2 guys to block, 3 if you have if you just really land in it, like the Patriots did for quite some time with Vince Wilfork. It takes 2-3 guys to block this guy. You get corners that can play man coverage, safeties who decapitate people that go over the center. I mean, this is pretty much his defense, right? And then you have now free guys. This is how you take away, right? The Belichick take away their best option, right? Because he's got guys freed up now to do that. And, the rest of the guys blitz on every single play. And that's pretty much the Patriots, defense, and what's made them successful throughout the years. I think that, the Patriots they've sold their soul many times over to make this happen. With the corners and in the secondary, they've brought in guys, rent a corners, for years they've been doing this. Aqib Talib played for the Patriots, after he'd been arrested. It's like he played for them, and the guy from the Jets who was awesome. Right? What's his name? I can't remember his name. The guy was with the Jets for years. Phenomenal.
Darrell Revis?
Yeah, Revis from Pittsburgh, right? Awesome player, right? Yeah. They brought him in, whatever, the McCourty brothers, Patrick Chung. It's like, man, he was there forever, right? Oh, yeah. They had, before that, they had, let's just say they've had more than their share. Law. Yeah, Ty Law. They've had their share, right? They've had their share. But, I don't think the Patriots have a ton to worry about here, at least not yet. As long as Belichick is there, you're going to win. And, whether or not it's enough to beat the elite teams, we'll find out.
I don't know, yeah. They still got a stacked defense.
But, even Brady's salary, even though while he never took top-of-the-line quarterback salary, it still frees up a lot of room. It still frees up some room, and now you have quarterbacks that you're not going to have to pay.
Yep.
Mike Haynes, way back. And that's before he was on the Raiders when he wanted to finally win some Super Bowls. Yep, Asante Samuel, same thing. Yep, it goes on and on and on. And if you look at the Giants, it was the same thing. And he also had the linebackers and the pass rushers there too. I mean, that remains to be seen who the Steelers play and who they don't play, right? Because if they go all the way and the Bucs go all the way, then they will have to play Brady, right? So, but that's one thing. There's been some other teams out there, that have made some moves as well, and the Dolphins have been active, but I think that to me the curious one has been the Giants and these linebacker moves. I don't understand it. It's like, do you guys understand what's going on here? Blake Martinez and what's the other guy? Who's the other guy they signed? It was like, what? It's like, I don't know. There was just a game that we saw, right? Back when there was sports, right? There was this game. And the Packers played against the 49ers with a chance to go to the Super Bowl, right? In the balance. And I think the 49ers decided that, well, there might not be, preseason football or something. So what we're going to do is we're going to rush for as many yards as we need to through preseason and everything else in this one game. And I'm not really sure why the Giants want that. I don't know. Does that make any sense to you guys? It's like, I don't understand it.
I mean, you don't always want to go off of like one guy's last game in terms of handing him a new contract, but Blake Martinez is going to get you tackles, but not before they give up 6 yards first. Like it's like, he'll get you. He'll probably lead your team in tackles. Like he's put up 144 in each of the last 3 years. Last year he had a career high 155, but it's like you said, the Packers were torn up on the run in that NFC Championship game, and the Giants haven't been a run-stopping defense as well. They were the bottom half of the league last year against the run. So do I want to pay Blake Martinez $10 million? Probably not. When you had Corey Littleton, Danny Trevathan still on the table.
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I'm just not seeing it. Especially locking these guys in for a few years, I mean, the Philip Rivers.
Blake Martinez is what, 3 years?
Yeah, it's like, do you want to lose? I guess that's part of the process, right? These days is losing, but it's like you're paying $30 million for that. Not really. I don't really understand it. We have, speaking of the Steelers. I noticed that they also keep Ryan Shazier on the injured list, and I'm going to guess that means he continues to get paid, which is, I think, a pretty class move by the organization. It's an organization that's done that for a long time. It's been known as a class organization. You don't see the Steelers have never been like huge free agency guys, throughout history. They've never been like that kind of thing. They're always more homegrown. We saw them pick up, a few guys here and there, but rarely are they like out there for the big name guys. You just don't see them for it. And the fact that they'd rather give money to Ryan Shazier is, I mean, it's tough to argue that one. As far as I'm concerned. So. Are we hearing any updates? Anyone hearing any updates from any of these other sports? If we're going to maybe see anything, because I'm not hearing anything at all.
Well, we saw that there were a few PGA events canceled. The PGA Championship was canceled.
Well, postponed.
Euros were
postponed.
Sorry, postponed. Oh. Sorry, my mistake. Postponed. But the Euros were moved to 2021, Copa America. I mean, we've had our first confirmed case of the coronavirus in the NHL now. We had four new ones in the NBA. I wouldn't be surprised if these.
at this point, right? So with the coronavirus confirmed in the NHL now, and the NBA, Kevin Durant, who's really not even playing right this season. I mean, was this transmitted through an NHL game? I don't understand this anymore.
They
So it's
don't.
like, you know, are they
What
what?
I read
I don't understand
on
what they're saying. I'm kind of am a little lost here, and I'm not
what
downplaying the significance of coronavirus or containment or any of those things because I
I've
understand
heard
it.
two.
I understand it, but it's like saying that an NHL player has coronavirus is like saying a hospital worker has come in contact with it. I mean, the odds. How many players are in the NHL? I mean, the odds are, there's going to be several that
Yeah.
have it, right?
Someone's get it. Yeah,
I mean, if you took
they were talking whether
a subway in New York, there's a chance you have it.
whether the guy from Ottawa did he contract it before or after. It hasn't even been 14 days since he played hockey, so he could. This coronavirus can stick with you for 14 days before you even show symptoms. So they're not sure. But I've had some people are going the other way, going, well, then he didn't follow protocol and seclude himself like the NHL told him to. And then people are saying, well, he could have done that. He's on Ottawa. And then I heard the joke of going, hey, look, it's the first time Ottawa's went viral. What's it going to change? Probably not a lot. It's still going to take the 45 days.
Yeah,
And
we
then
don't even have
basically,
we don't even have testing here. So there's no there's no cases on Maui because we don't have any testing.
yeah.
It's like I'm going to guess they'll have their first confirmed case when they do a couple hundred tests. It's like it's just why do the athletes seem to get have first access here?
Yeah.
It seems like if you're an athlete, you have no problem getting a test, but if you're
Joe Schmo,
if you work at the 7-Eleven
yeah.
on Oahu, it's like you got no chance of it.
Well, yeah. If we walked into one of the medical places here in Canada and said, "Hey, give me a test," they're going to be like, "Well, you show your symptoms?" Blah blah blah. They're not going to give us a test right away. No way. They would have to start coughing really loud.
Well, the other thing that kind of affects at least the NHL mostly, I mean, any league that has a Toronto sports franchise, that they've temporarily shut down Canada, U.S. non-essential travel. So that could, until that's lifted, I don't see any way that like a Canadian team they won't be able to get over the border and vice versa. I know that they've closed down all the borders. Say, well, if you're in Canada, unless you have to go over the border to the U.S., it's not happening.
It's just an odd thing, right? It's like this whole selection process. I don't know. We can only hope that there's a cure that's found soon, though. Anyways, we're going to keep the show fairly brief today. I don't think there's any reason to go on. We just want to give an update and stuff. Tomorrow we'll see what happens in the world of sports, free agency, and all that kind of stuff. See if we have any updates from the leagues, and we'll be here to share it with you. We're not going to, like I said yesterday, we're not going to sit here and cry that we don't have anything to bet on. We're not going to do anything like that. We're going to sit here and we're going to navigate this together, and when it all comes back, we're going to be in the best position possible to deliver even better than what we've done in the past. We're not going to be like one of your favorite restaurant when they take the grilled cheese off the menu for the new leg grilled cheese, and the one that you wanted the whole time is gone. We never do things that way. We kind of just add on to what we're doing. So, anyways, we're not a news site. We know events are canceled. They could cancel the NFL season at this point. I'm not going to be surprised. They can cancel every season, till the end of the year, and I'm not going to be surprised anymore. But we're going to navigate it together, and we're just going to figure it out. The PGA is not canceled; it's postponed. So that's incorrect news, fake news. postponed. They'll look for rescheduling it sometime this summer, is what they've said. So not canceled. Canceled and postponed, two very, very different things. Suspended and canceled, two very different things. We went over this, where Chris admitted how many times he'd been suspended from school. Oh, that was me. That was me. Anyways.
Oh, me too.
All right. Me too. Anyways, it's good talking to everyone. Good seeing everyone, man. I'm just as bored as you guys are. Trust me on that one. But anyways, we're around in the Facebook group a little less than usual, but we are working behind the scenes. As a matter of fact, so today, what am I doing today? I'm going to go play golf, and when I get back, I have 2 calls scheduled for today, as far as both stuff for the websites, and then pretty much a full week ahead for me. So we're doing lots of stuff behind the scenes and working on that multi-capper site. Still waiting patiently for the t-shirts, which, we'll have that promotion as soon as everything gets up and going. Anyways, this is Mitch for the Puck Dogs. You guys have anything else you want to add? Chris?
We miss you, sports.
What?
I said we miss you, sports.
We do miss you, sports. We miss you betting.
Horse number 5, race 1 at Gulfstream. Horse number 5, race 1 at Gulfstream.
What's the name of the horse?
Well, I gotta look it up. I just wrote down the numbers. I'm bad for that. I'll write down the numbers.
What are the conditions?
Name of the horse. Conditions. Right turf. Dream Adriana is the name of the horse.
83 and Sunny.
Yeah.
Race 1 is the 5 is Royal Jewel. 5
Oh yeah, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. Yeah, Royal Jewel. I like Royal Jewel in race 1.
I don't like the price there.
I don't like that price there either, but
who's the jockey on there?
Miguel Vasquez.
Yeah. I don't know. I got to go with the 3, Felony Melanie.
Felony Melanie?
Yeah. Got to go with. I'll have to go with the 3, 9.
Yeah, I like the 9 too.
3, 6, 9. So
3, 6,
obvious.
9.
So obvious. So obvious. I love the ones that I bet on their father and I bet on their mother. I'm old enough where it's like I bet on the grandfathers of most of these horses.
Actually, your 6 horse isn't a bad horse. It's got a 25% ROE its last 10 races. Or ROI.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything, man. That means
no, but that's still it's a half decent number.
I don't look at that stuff. It's like because you have to look at who they've run against and where they've run and what conditions they've run and I'm just going off the names. But let's see if I can find a form. I should do this with you guys. That would be fun, man. To do races and go through the form with everyone race by race. I used to do a horse racing show at River Downs, and I don't know. I don't talk about it a lot, but I used to be on. There's a show called The Regular Guy Show at River Downs, and I was like one of the most popular guests that they ever had on the show. The very first race I was ever on, I threw out the favorite and the second choice, hit the trifecta straight. $1 try, paid $900, and it's like they got hundreds of phone calls to have me back.
Well, that's what you want to do in horses is look at the favorite, and I usually toss them out, whatever the board's on, because you're not going to make anything if you just keep betting the favorite to win all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a favorite better.
Well, yeah, because we want the bigger payout.
Yeah. Trying to see if we can get a racing form or something.
I don't know if I can send you this form
I'll
because I
send.
bought the program. I bought the $3 program for Gulfstream, but I don't know if I can. If it'll let me forward it to you.
No, I got it.
Uh,
You can usually get this stuff for free.
yeah, they have options on the thing. They give them free, or they have you can buy one, or
So it's today. Today is the 18th.
the 18th.
Oh yeah, he can get it here. It doesn't really have the past performances on here. Late entries, results. There it is. Results. See, this horse has only run once at Gulfstream, came in third, but it is way better than the horse that run at Aqueduct. 4 furlongs, 51-7. Huh. Might have to watch some ponies today. Anyways, man, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Maybe we'll do some horse racing on the show. Have a great day, everyone, and we'll see you then.